Welcome back to my Voice Acting 101 series. This is where we talk about entering the industry. This is about stage 2. We're going to be covering agents and voice reels, creating your vocal CV. Let's start with agents though. Getting in contact with agencies is really daunting. I get that. But please don't think that you just have one shot, one opportunity, palms are sweaty, mom's spaghetti type. You don't.
Snap back to reality.
You can apply multiple times. It's perfectly fine. Just don't apply with the same material you did, because you're going to always get the same answer. Change it up. Every time you apply with something different. Hit them at it from a new angle. From what I've seen and from what I've done, the more self-reflection that you have, the more defining of your voice, defining of your brand that you have in stage 1, up above, the clearer the picture for the potential agents that are going to represent you. They don't want a shotgun splatter of information and all the things that you've done. They want a concentrated bullet of information. And that bullet, according to me, is comprised of 3 things. The first thing is what I mentioned earlier, your voice reel. Quite literally your vocal CV in the industry. The next thing after that is any relevant experience you have and any relevant projects that you've been working on. These directly relate to your voice and your vocal reels. Not everything, not all of your gaming compilations. They don't want to see that. They just want to see relevant content. This can include voice acting courses that you've done, right? Group or one-on-one sessions. Any notable coaches that you've worked with, those are important. And then any relevant video content or vocal content. Finally, a place easily accessible for all of this to be seen. Usually that's in the form of a personal website or say a casting webpage, a casting directory. Here in the UK, we have a website called Spotlight, and it quite literally shines a spotlight on new and upcoming actors. It's an accredited casting webpage, and it's usually considered sort of the first golden ticket to legitimize your claims to being an actor, a voice actor, so on and so forth. If you want a video covering those casting web pages, how to apply to them, how to get in, because they can be a bit tricky to join. I had a bit of a palaver trying to get onto Spotlight itself. Let me know down in the comments below. Okay, so you have some recordings and you have some content. Maybe you've even worked on the odd project here and there, but you don't have a shiny, new, professional sounding vocal CV in the form of a voice reel. There's a few ways to get one. The first way is just to do it yourself. You've probably gone down a rabbit hole of gear videos on YouTube. I have many times, but in case you still kind of need a recap, here we go. You need a decent mic. You need a way with that decent mic to record yourself, some form of software, some form of interface. And then you need an extremely quiet room, the most sound deadened room in your house. Most people just record out of their coat closet. And to be honest, that legitimately works. It's a bit cramped. It's maybe not a professional studio, but for starting off, do it.
Just do it!
And from there, it's a lot of trial and error. But like with most things, it's going to start off really crap. The more you do it, the more you practice, the better it'll come out. To be fair, a lot of this would have been done, a lot of this practice would have been established in the latter half of stage 1, where you're just trying everything. Okay, so we've established you have a recording routine. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. You can hammer that out later. So what you need to do now is compile a whole bunch of scripts. You can write your own, or you can just cannibalize from some of your favorite content. You're looking for scripts that suit your voice that you've already established and the genres that you want to try and hit. Stick within those boundaries. Apart from that, it's fair game. You're going to need to record them and edit them into 2 compilations. The first one is going to be a 30-second long script. Try and fit in quite a few sections within that 30 seconds. You got to keep that dopamine satiation going, like they're scrolling on TikTok. Keeps them engaged. The second one is going to be a little bit longer at 90 seconds. You can still try and keep as many of the scripts in as you like, but also find a balance there. You don't want it to be 5 seconds of each, and you don't want it to be just 90 seconds of one. Try and find a nice balance that still keeps it engaging. When you have these first couple drafts, don't send them to agents yet. send them to your friends and family and try and get feedback, test and see what the engagement is like. They may not get the entire concept of why there's so many different voices across such a short period of time, but you're just looking to see how interested they are. Get that feedback, implement it, re-edit, and send it off. If you're very confident in your skills, and maybe you say you've done a lot of planning, then you can always just hire out an actual studio space for the day, for an hour, for 5 hours, however long you think it's going to take you. It'll cost you some money, but it's definitely going to be better than your coat closet, and it's pretty much going to guarantee the background sound quality and noise floor of your vocal reels, and that's really, really important. But the only caveat to that is that you need to be pretty well experienced in the tech side of things and in the sound engineering department in order to do that. Otherwise, you'll have to hire an entirely separate engineer to come with you. Finally, one of the last options I'd say it's quite viable is to collaborate with the coach. The coach is pretty much going to be there as the sound tech and as a director who can show you different angles and directions to take your voice. In fact, a lot of voiceover coaches will often offer courses that will give you kind of a starting reel by the end of your lessons with them. This is what I did. I was entering a new industry. I knew my reels weren't up to scratch with the UK standard, and I just wanted to get them done, and I wanted to get them done right. So I found a course. I approached the coach. I said, hey, I want to do these 2 reels. And so in conjunction with him, we set about making my first ever drama voice reel, and then my first ever video games voice reel. It's by far the most comprehensive way about it, and you can pretty much guarantee you're going to have some stunning reels at the end, but it's also the most expensive because you're paying for the coach's time. I 100% think it's worth the money, not just because you get reels by the end of it, but because you're also learning an absolute ton of knowledge about the industry when you do it. Okay, so you have a reel. Great, fantastic. You listen to it as many times as you like. No shame. Now it's down for the agents to decide if they have a need for your voice or not. When applying via email, it helps to understand and know when the busy periods and when the quiet periods of the industry are. It's not an exact science, but there will be peaks and there will be dips. And you want to aim to send your emails out just before the busy period. And I'll tell you why.
Tell me why.
Say it's the peak of the busy period and your agent has jobs coming out of their wazoo and they're booking loads of people. For one, they may not see your email because it might just get lost under the clutter. Secondly, there may not be incentive for them to represent you because why would they? They're busy, they're making money. Do they really need to add another person to their repertoire? Probably not. And for the exact same reason, don't send it to them when it's really quiet. They'll more than likely see your email if it's super quiet. It won't get lost under the surge. But why would they hire somebody when they're not booking any jobs and casting directors aren't coming forward and saying, hey, we got these new projects every day of the week and we need your people's voices on. So then who do you email? Do some research on the different agencies within your city or within your country. Hey, if you want to move, that's cool. Have a list of the top 5 dream agencies that you'd like to have. Maybe even the agents within those agencies that you'd like to represent you, right? The big hitters, the big dig players, and hold off on emailing them. Then compile a list of a handful of mid-tier agents, not as big dig players, but maybe slightly above average players. I'm so sorry. Anyway, mid-tier agencies. They're not the big hitters, but they are decent at their jobs and they're good. Send out your emails with your reel and a link to your website to those mid-tier agencies. Get feedback from them, implement that feedback, and then send it out to the top 5 big hitters. The big hitters are most likely gonna say no because you're just starting out. And that's fine, but you have to send out the emails and you have to at least try. Say yes to the best mid-tier agent that wants to rep you because they will do amazing work for you at the beginning of your career. And when you start to grow and grow and grow and you have way more jobs under your belt, only then can you really maybe consider changing agents. But it goes 2 ways. As you get more jobs with your agent also starts to grow in reputation, right? I was really lucky. I genuinely think I was very lucky when I first came to the UK because I got my reels. I sent them out to all sorts of agencies. I didn't do the top 5 and then a handful of mid-tiers. I just shotgun blasted to everyone as a Hail Mary because we're in the middle of lockdown in the pandemic, right? My agent came back to me. They want to represent me, and they were one of my preferred agencies, mainly because of how involved and interested they are in the video game space, in the video game industry, and it's an industry I'm extremely passionate about. A lot of it can be done with planning, and then sometimes a lot of it's just a bit of luck. Don't give up hope. If none of them come back and say yes, go back to the drawing board. If you haven't done any more courses, maybe get back onto the course game and work on yourself, work on that self-reflection, work on that refining, edit your reels a bit more, send them again, guaranteed you'll get someone to represent you. I hope this video was helpful, at the very least. Stage 3, when we talk about after you have an agency and you start to do more refining and you start to really hone in on your niche, is up above. I'll see you guys next time.